Hello, welcome to Todd Miller TV, joined here today with Las Vegas attorney Ryan Alexander. So Ryan, as you're probably well aware, last year the number of notice of defaults dropped dramatically. And over the last year, the number of foreclosures has also dropped. So typically, when we see that in real estate, a big change like that, it tends to move over into other areas. So specifically with bankruptcy, what are the trends you've seen really over the last few years, and how do you think that the bankruptcy trend is compared to the foreclosure cycle that we've sort of just finishing up with?
Well, what I've seen is that the bankruptcies have actually gone hand in hand with the foreclosures. And as foreclosures have stopped in Nevada, because of the law changes making it more difficult for banks to foreclose, bankruptcy filings are down.
Okay.
So we're seeing that bankruptcy filings are down about 40%. The official numbers from the trustee's office is that the bankruptcies are down about between 38 and 42% from the 2010 highest numbers. That was kind of a peak. So there's a peak in 2005, right before the law changed.
Right.
Then it dropped off, and then it picked up huge in late 08 through 2010 and early 11. That was the peak again. Now we're down about 40% off that peak. What we believe in the bankruptcy community is because of the change in the law that made the standard of proof more difficult for the bank to foreclose. They've got to show all this extra paperwork in order to foreclose, which they're not doing, and so people are waiting. And so the upside is that people are getting more time in their home, they're getting other resolutions, loan mods are up, loan modification has become a big option for people now. They're much more compliant with short sale requests. The banks are offering short sales. But as far as bankruptcy's down. And I see a lot of the practices, I know we're doing significantly less. A lot of the practices have kind of shrunk a bit, we're to change with what the market wants.
Okay.
We're seeing business filings are down too, and I know for my own side, I was filing a fair number of business bankruptcies about 2 years ago, and that has also dropped off, and we're rarely seeing as many filings. Businesses are still closing for different reasons,
Right.
But we're seeing less filings, and I think a lot of the wave of commercial property filings, like a lot of people who filed for businesses back 2 years ago were people who bought a commercial building for 2 or 3, 4 million that's now worth 1 million, and
that's like.
and you've got to do something about that, or larger, as we saw. I represented, and so this is my own experience too, as I represented a lot more real estate portfolios or real estate investment, either individuals or companies, about 2 to 3 years ago. And then we're getting less of that now. And I think, and also people are doing less Chapter 11s and 13s to reorganize, and most people are just accepting and moving on and filing Chapter 7s to just get rid of the properties and start over. Which, to be honest, is probably healthier for most people. Depending where they are in their business curve, where they are in their business maturity or their age.
Okay.
For a lot of younger people, if you're under 45, it's probably better just to do a 7, start over.
Okay.
And I look at every situation differently, but I kind of counsel people, if you have time to recover and you still have fight in you, then you'd probably be better off with a 7 in a lot of circumstances. Start over, build your credit back up. 2 to 3 years from now, you'll be back, right where you started as far as able to buy, able to do things. People's cash situation might be a little different than a couple years ago. People aren't making the money they used to a few years ago, and so that might affect their decision. But overall, bankruptcy trends are down. Other solutions, loan modification, short sale is up, taking that place. Foreclosures have almost stopped. And we heard from the creditors earlier in the year, we heard from the banks that they were saying, okay, well, we're going to start judicial foreclosures. That's going to be our new thing. And they never did.
Right.
We got a couple of them. Honestly, I could say probably we got less than a dozen that came through here that I saw on my own clients. And a lot of those, they would end up giving a loan mod. They would file for the judicial foreclosure. we would do an answer, and then they would just end up resolving it, or
Yeah.
give a short sale. They'd say, okay, well, we won't judicially foreclose, we'll give you a short sale instead. Which is good for the client. It's good because you need to get out and get rid of that debt, but it doesn't give a systemic solution. You know, we're not
Right.
really seeing what the answer is yet.
So it's still, we don't have any blanket government solution. It's just one-on-one people resolving their individual issues.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's complex versus whether a person has a house, a commercial building, investment real estate, a loan on their business, or personal loans, whether they need to do different types of file. And you can do all that. I mean, you
Yeah.
can deal with all the different types of filings on all the different scenarios, them personally, their business, or portfolios of real estate.
Correct.
If someone, and this is in Las Vegas, obviously.
Yeah, in Nevada.
In Nevada. If somebody wants to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
They can give me a call at 702-222-FIRM. That's 222-3476. You'll get a consultation with me. I'm the attorney that handles the case from start to finish here, and we'll go over what your own needs are specific and what you want to accomplish. I always ask the client, what are your goals? What do you want to get out, out of this process, and where can we get you at the end of it? And I tell them, and a lot of people, they need something else. I refer them out if they need other services, and so I always pride myself on telling the person exactly what they need, and not just trying to sign them up for something that I do necessarily.
Yeah, and I know that's the case because you've had people come in here and say I have a problem, and you tell them just do a short sale. You don't need to do a bankruptcy, and then they'll just come to us and do a short sale.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much.
No problem, Todd.
All right, Attorney Ryan Alexander here in Las Vegas. That's my update for today. Hope to see you on another video. Thanks.